And yet, there was always some remnant of life, some memory of the fire that once burned within these things. Here, the tension is almost enough to make you clench your jaw, even though it seems that there's no harm that can become you. You just don't want to be separated from the person you waited here with. And if you're here by yourself, you just don't want to be forced back another step. By now, you're determined. By now, you just want to find out what happens at the end. You want to make it to the end of your journey. Everything is more difficult. Cold is much worse here. And then this. So close. There's nowhere to hide here. No shelter. Just the places where many, many have died here. Have they died coming here? Is this place like this because so many died here? Was there a battle here? Is this just where people are buried so they can be close to the mountain? And you notice in horror, my friend and I noticed in horror when we traveled together, that our scarves were being torn apart by the wind. That the pieces of ourselves that we had collected had been ripped away from us by the cold wind at the end of our journey. With the ability to fly and our ability to move and everything had been slowed down by the cold and the cruelty of perhaps old age. Perhaps the freezing up of our being at the end of our physical journey. And yet we still struggle to reach the light. We still fight towards it. Many of us right till the end. Right at the very last bitter step, cling to our cold, shivering bodies, in the hopes that maybe someday, maybe this time, we'll make it. And I was singing to my friend, but I had barely any voice, and it wasn't making them warm anymore, and we couldn't provide heat for each other any longer. And our climb grew slower and slower. The winds seemed to become quieter. There was nothing but the sound of our footsteps, the sound of our struggle through the snow, the sound of our struggle against the cold to keep putting one foot in front of the other. And to wonder, why now? Why now do we lose sight of our goal? Why now is our vision clouding over? Why now does our body give up? Why now are our memories stripped from us? Why now can we no longer hold each other up? Why now? So close. My friend fell first. I was like, no, Do I have to revive them? What happens? Before I could reach them, my character fell as well. And I thought, that's it. It's the end. There's nothing more. And I wasn't necessarily disappointed, just sort of sad that there wasn't any more, and that I didn't know what had happened to my friend. And then I woke up. And I wasn't dead. And I hadn't lost all the memories I'd collected. But then this happened. What is this? What do I do? And I just hit the jump button. I didn't know what else to do. And I took off. And I saw the dragons, but they couldn't touch me. I could fly faster than them now. They couldn't hurt me anymore. They never were trying to hurt me. Or were they? Now what? The top of the mountain. I'll make it yet. And I'm filled with excitement. And then I hear, in the distance, and I realize my friend's here with me. They made it. And we fly together. And there are mountains and all kinds of awesome things, and I wasn't paying attention and lost my energy, but it doesn't matter. As soon as you hit the clouds, you can fly again. You are no longer a creature bound to the earth by the limits of your own self. You're nearly at the end of the journey. You thought you'd reached the end before, but no, there was more. More after. More to learn? Perhaps. There is some learning happening here. Because all of the other things are here too. All of the other things that we're with, that we're freeing, that we're flying with and playing with, and all the weird carpet jellyfish that we tickled, and the strange carpet seaweed, and our friend, if you happen to travel with one, which I had my first time through. And you're not limited again. You can just do what you want. And we're singing. And all the whales and the carpet things and the sea fronds and the bath towel fish are singing with us. And the water and the clouds gives us energy. It sets us burning with light. And the music is hopeful and happy. It's a celebration. It's not a mourning. It's not the end of anything. It's a beginning more than anything else. Or at least a triumphant victory of some kind. A song being played by an orchestra of strange living things. They fill you with light when they tell you what they feel. And yet they speak no words. And they have majesty and grace. You sense age and wisdom in their form, and yet they're just whales made of carpet. And you're sharing this with the person you came here with. And filled with a sense of wonder and awe and joy because you get to share this with them. After all you went through and all the things you learned and all the travels you did and all the beautiful places you explored, you get to explore the end of the game together. And this part is beautiful. You want to chime with the bells behind you. And the music picks up and gets more vibrant the more you sing. You're so pulled into this moment. And by now you're just racing to see what's up here at the top of the mountain. Even though some small part of you's kind of figured out what's at the top of the mountain. And there's a sort of somberness to the joy you feel. And my friend and I we paused here the first time we came through, the first time I played the game, and both sort of looked at this crevice of light in the world. We kind of knew that that was the real end of the journey. And I realized that in some small way, I'd fallen in love with the person that I played through this game with, even though I had no idea who they were. Even though we'd never spoken, and probably never will speak, because they friended me after this, and I think they're Japanese. We have no language similarities whatsoever, but they're always there in my friend list, and I know that that's the person that I played with, that I formed this sort of soulmate bond with by the end of this game, and we stayed together walking this part, side by side, at the same pace, and our cloaks touched, and it was almost as though we held hands. And at this point in the game, my first playthrough, I was weeping openly, which is odd for me. I'm usually kind of a stoic person. And it was because the story itself was so universal in a way, and was so broad and encompassing of kind of the struggle of existence, period, against entropy and destruction, and the seeking of light and beauty and knowledge amidst the things that might threaten us and the mistakes we might make in the past, is what drives us to always go forwards, even though we may not know what lies beyond, even though we fear we might leave our friends behind. The fact remains, we made those friends along the journey, and their memory will always stay with us, as will the memory of all the journeys that we take. And at this point, the silhouettes of my friend and I merged into one as we went single file through the crevice, and our forms faded away into white light. And the feeling that making this journey had left behind in our hearts, and knowing it would be an experience we'd never forget. I'm going to let the credits run, and I'd like, if you've made it this far, to watch them, because everyone who had a hand in the making of this beautiful work of art deserves recognition. And everyone should see the moment that they're reborn as a falling star and recollect everything that they've gone through. And here, just when we thought the journey was finally over. Oh, and here I should say, this is where it tells you who you played with, and it's how I found out that I had only ever played with one person my first playthrough. Now, apparently I was in a world with someone at some point, because I ran into Turbo Cancer 1, which is a terrible player name. But, hello, Turbo Cancer 1. I hope you're not fighting cancer, whoever you are, and if that's what your name means, then, I understand it a bit better, but there's just nothing funny about cancer. But you'll notice the sun rises, and you're faced again with the mountain, and the first three little markers with the banners blowing in the wind. And you'll think, oh, that's nice. I fell as a shooting star back through. And it gives you the option to start a new journey. And there's no menu, there's no lead in. You just are there. And you can start again. Perhaps this time collect the memories you left behind the first time. Explore the places you didn't explore. Meet new people and make new friends. At some point, you'll have collected everything. You will have heard all the tales, and you will know the full story. And you can step in to the light and gain your white robes. And perhaps travel as a being of white, and find those who need guidance, and in a way become a teacher. And I think perhaps that's an important lesson too. Thanks for sticking around. Don't stop thinking.